Hello, this is Monique McDonald. And if you're looking for more one-on-one help with your voice and how to make it magnetic, I want to invite you to check out my coaching packages at themagneticvoice.com. Then click Transform with Monique and book a complimentary connection call. Let's see if we can find a package for you that will fit all of your needs. I'm so grateful for your listening to the Magnetic Voice podcast, and I can't wait to meet you and continue the conversation. Take care. See you soon.
Welcome to the Magnetic Voice, here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel, a show where speakers and singers learn how to be more magnetic and align their voices to the divine within. Today, episode 43, My Own Two Hands. And now your host, Monique McDonald.
Hello and welcome to the Magnetic Voice podcast. My name is Monique McDonald and I am here with Shannon Kropf. Hey, Shannon.
Hey, Monique. What's up?
Oh, so happy to be here with you today.
Yeah, me too.
Woo, we are in June. Can you believe it?
I really can't. I was just thinking the other day, I kind of do this every year, like, oh, I can't believe it's June already. But there's something about this June, like we skipped 2020, like in our processing of time. And so when I go, it's June of 2022, I'm just like, where's my flying car? What's happening?
Exactly. And it is 6/11/22, which is 11/22. What is, time is so interesting.
It is.
And this is what I wanted to talk about today. I recently read a quote from Audrey Hepburn, who was one of my favorite actresses. And the quote goes like this: as you grow older, you will discover that you have two hands.
Oh, okay. I thought I had that figured out at like 6 months, but cool. I'm listening.
And then she goes on to say, one for helping yourself and one for helping others.
Nice.
And when I saw that quote, it felt so timely because, we're approaching mid-year and I'm looking and I'm seeing how I've only been using one hand.
Now, which
I've
hand?
been using one hand a lot.
Now, that could go two ways, even laughing at it, because it could go like, I'm helping other people so much that I'm neglecting myself, or it could be like, it's all about me and I ain't helping nobody.
Right. That's right. So I'm going to clarify.
Okay.
I'm helping others so much that I'm spending less and less time with myself and taking care of myself. I follow Tony Robbins. He was one of my big mentors, and I studied his coaching program. And he was talking about how it's very common that when you start to build a business, you give your all to it. And you get tunnel vision and you find yourself 2 or 3 years later, and all the things that you were doing to keep balance, self-care, taking care of your body, eating well, moving, you've given up.
Yep.
And so today I really want to commit to using both hands.
Nice.
The truth is, I am a giver. I love giving. I love my business. I love what my business does for people.
Yeah.
how it heals, how it helps people find their voice. I love what I do, which is why it's really easy to not notice.
Right. Of course. Because you're kind of on this high of doing what you love, which is great. But, the wear and tear is still going on underneath, if that makes sense.
That's right. That's right. And it's so important. And as we're sitting here in the middle of the year of 2022,
stop saying
and
that.
we're just sitting talking like we always do, my dear Shannon, about the passage of time and how, when we're young, time seems to go by so slow, right? Wasn't it like, oh, I can't wait to grow up.
I can't wait to be 16 so I can drive.
Exactly.
That seems like it took forever. It wasn't. It really didn't.
And now we're getting older. It's like time is speeding up, and it's really interesting. So when I was looking at this quote from Miss Hepburn, I found myself looking at my hands. And I looked at my hands and I started to notice wrinkles. Wrinkles on my hands. And I'm looking at my hands and I'm seeing hands that I don't recognize as my own.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking about my mother's hands and how much I loved my mother's hands and how I watched them age, right? So as a little girl, her hands looked one way. And as she got older, her hands looked different. And what I find so interesting about these musings that I tend to have is that when I look at my own hands and see the wrinkles, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But when I think back at her hands and seeing the wrinkles, they were beautiful.
Yeah.
Because they were my mother's hands.
Right.
So as I'm looking at these hands and seeing the passage of time on my face, I was talking to my prayer partner who's probably about 10 years older than I am. And I woke, we speak first thing in the morning, most mornings. And I said, I don't understand what happened. I didn't have a wrinkle. And this morning, when I went to bed, there was no wrinkle. And this morning, can wrinkles happen overnight? And so she just laughed at me because, yes, of course they can. But it is so interesting how our culture is set up to look at aging and growing older. And when you compare it to how the indigenous people deal with it.
Yeah, totally different, right?
A completely different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
They celebrated gray hair because that meant you were wise.
You had earned that gray hair.
And you had earned that gray hair.
Right.
I have a stripe of gray hair on the right-hand side of my head. It's like one of those. Apparently, my hairdresser tells me that women actually dye their hair to look like this, right? So they have this like stripe. And I was covering it up, and then I was like, you know what? The last time I went to get my hair colored, I decided not to color it and embrace it.
Good.
Looking at the gifts that age is bringing and how important it is to take better care of myself now.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the gifts. Because there's so many, on our culture and, in television and magazines and everywhere we look, younger, thinner is way better than older and bigger. And I was talking to a friend because I am always in process with my
Of
body
course.
and my weight. And, and she said something that really stuck with me. She said, having a few extra pounds on your body used to be a sign of abundance.
That's right.
A sign of living well.
That's right.
And that it wasn't until we started marketing on paper.
That's great. Yeah.
That they wanted to stop. They looked for, the way she put it was, they looked for models who were ugly and skinny. So people would focus on
the product,
clothes.
Right? Yeah. Interesting.
And that has just, and that was the turning point.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, it's like everything with perspective. All of a sudden, it's like, yes, I want to be healthy, but that I have to look like what those models look like in order to be beautiful. All of a sudden, that took a different turn in my head.
Yeah. And there's so many women kind of in Hollywood these days, because, that's the roughest of the rough places to get old. And but I'm so impressed with some of the actresses, like Meryl Streep and some of the others. Julianne Moore, I think, is doing the same. She's just being who she is, and without freaking out and having every single cosmetic surgery you can have. And there's something that's beautiful and authentic about that, because when we look at the screen or the advertisements and we see this like flawless looking 65-year-old woman, it's not real. It doesn't connect with us because nobody we know that's that age looks like that. Right? I mean, you could say that your whole life. When I was 16, nobody I knew looked like the 16-year-olds in the advertisements either. But the kind of like fake plasticky thing of, it's just kind of done. I feel like maybe we all grew up a little bit, maybe over COVID or something, but just more authenticity is wanted and needed, I think. I hope.
I really hope so too. And as I'm watching the changes in my face and in my hands and my hair, I remember my mother used to I would dye her hair for her. And we would always have a bit of a discussion over the color.
Right.
Because originally her hair was quite dark brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I believed that when her skin started to change because of getting older, I believe there's a reason why our hair grays with age, to enhance what happens to our skin as we age.
Interesting.
We are perfect in our design.
Yeah.
And so I would always, and I would usually win. I would find colors that were a little, because it seemed to be very stark. The dark hair with the way her complexion was showing up. And why does any of this matter? It's what it is to really get how natural this process is.
Right.
And that even though we rarely think of it, we start aging the minute we're born.
Sure, absolutely.
I sang for a funeral the other day, which was amazing because I haven't been singing in public for years. And I was invited to sing for this funeral. She was a friend of a friend, and he couldn't sing, so he asked me to sing and represent him and his voice.
Lovely.
And It was at an Episcopalian church in White Plains, here in New York. And they did something that I have sung for many funerals, but I'd never seen it done. At the end of the service, they rang the bell 86 times,
Oh my
which
gosh.
was the age of the woman who passed.
I bet that felt like it went on forever.
It went on forever. And that was my cue to sing. I sang Fore's Pie Jesu, and it was supposed to start right after the bells stopped. And of course, I started counting, and it was like, I very quickly lost count.
Yes.
But it was something so special because when you think of it, she lived 86 summers.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like that long when you put it in those terms.
No. It's so interesting.
And how long was the ringing of the bell? Really, it wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't. And it's beautiful that it's like the avatar of, for every time this bell rings is a whole year of her life. And that's,
right.
I mean, that's just amazing. But it's funny that you mentioned this idea of, she's had 86 summers and 86 Christmases. And because just the other day, because of course we are quantum sisters, I was thinking, okay, this will be my 50th summer. I've had 50 summers. I can't remember all of them. And how many summers do I have left to go? Not in a weird, creepy, I'm getting old kind of way, but like, how can I make my summers, my Christmases, my days, the very best that they can be? I don't know if I know the answer. Swimming more in my pool is probably one of the answers to that.
Yes. And the sheer fact that you get up every day and ask yourself that question is going to bring so many gifts.
Yeah.
Because that is something that becomes more prevalent in our minds as we get older. The gift of life and health.
Mm-hmm. And, my mom lives with us still. And as everybody who's listened to the podcast knows, my dad passed a couple of years ago. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. And watching her get older also reminds me, sometimes I can't remember what she looked like when she was younger. Because I see her literally every day the way she is now.
Right.
And, I've got to say the cool thing is that since my dad passed, she has absolutely blossomed. She's made a bunch of friends. She's volunteering at her church. She's lost a ton of weight. It's like this whole new person has emerged, and it's beautiful to watch.
It is.
Anyway, sorry, that was a total tangent to what we were talking about. But
actually, it brings us right to the moral of the story.
Okay.
We are in full bloom. Always. Wherever we are in life, we are blooming and blossoming. And as we start to look towards summer, that we welcome who we are, wherever we are in life.
Yeah.
That we welcome that who we want to become is who we already are.
Mm-hmm.
And as I look at my own two hands and see the changes, my commitment today is to take better care of myself. And I invite all of you within the sound of my voice to take better care of yourself with your own two hands and welcome the wisdom that is coming forth and welcoming the change with grace and gratitude. So now, as we take a deep centering breath, I invite you to close your eyes and come apart with me for a while. I want you to breathe into your belly and allow your entire being to shift down into the lowest part of you, the most sacred part of you, breathing into the I am, breathing into the divine that lives within you, that sacred space between time. We are between time. There's no yesterday, and there's no tomorrow. There's only now. And as we breathe together in this place of love and beauty, between the worlds of heaven and earth, we are that perfect center. Within each one of us is the point where the source of all there is meets the world as we know it. And as we breathe and know this truth, I invite you to allow yourself to move back in time, slowly just looking at your life all the way back as far as you can remember, and see yourself injecting it with love and joy, smoothing out any rough spots with your love, sending beauty into the past, enfolding the past with love, and breathe. As you take this journey back, let your mouth form a Buddha smile of awareness and expectation of sacred joy. And now bring yourself back to this now moment and allow yourself to move forward in time. Feel your soul expanding. See what you want to see in your future. See yourself supported and guided by the divine as you inject joy, fun, freedom, laughter, love into the future. Look at your hands, your own two hands, helping others, and helping yourself. Look at all the love that you're calling in for the future. Look at all the success, all the triumph. See the gratitude for those moments unfolding before you. And when it comes time for the transition, see the transition as an unfolding and a continuation, a loving release of the body into the soul that is forever here and now present. Feel yourself become one with all there is, moving back into the source. And bring all of that love, all of that wisdom, right back to the here and now moment. Feel the blessing. Feel the grace. And with another deep breath, release into the gratitude. And so it is.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Magnetic Voice here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. This channel is made possible because of listeners just like you. If you would like to support the channel with your tax-deductible contribution on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head over to experienceofthesoul.com/support. The Magnetic Voice is copyright 2022 Monique McDonald, all rights reserved. Our theme music is composed by Dave Kropf and used with permission. The Experience of the Soul podcast channel is a production of 818 Studios.
Hey friends, Sean here, your Experience of the Soul producer. I want to take a moment to tell you about something truly exciting. The SoulWorks online community, created by your host, Cynthia Alice Anderson, and available on the Mighty Networks app. If you're looking for a place where you can explore your spiritual path, connect with others, and grow in a meaningful way, then this is for you. SoulWorks is so much more than an online community. It's a safe, inclusive space for spiritual exploration, self-discovery, and personal transformation. Inside the community, you'll find everything from uplifting spiritual studies to soul-centered growth practices, meditations, affirmations, and so much more. It's a space where you'll always be supported and never judged. The best part, membership is free. You'll have access to powerful resources, inspiring content, and a supportive group of like-minded people who are all on their own unique spiritual journeys. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there are premium options available to enhance your experience with a live Monday night talk series and extended, deeper meditations. If you're seeking a place to connect, grow, and nurture your soul, we would love to have you join us in the SoulWorks community and see where this journey can take you. Visit my.soulworkscommunity.com today.